Hey guys, welcome back to the ExamRevision YouTube channel. My name is Ellen and today we're going to be talking about the biggest mock mistakes. These are some things that you really should avoid doing and just some tips when it comes to your mocks coming up in the next month or two. So yeah, without further ado, let's get on with the video. The first thing I want to talk about is overlooking the importance of the mocks. People really underestimate the importance of mocks. They are such a valuable learning experience and tool for your leaving cert if you prepare for them correctly. They are genuinely so valuable and I don't think a lot of people see that point of view. Mocks are there for a reason. We wouldn't have them if they weren't useful to you. They are there to simulate the entire leaving cert that you will be doing in June. As well as mimicking the leaving cert, they mentally prepare you to sit an exam as big as your leaving cert. Most likely walking into your mocks, you will have the exact same feelings and mentalities that you do in June. And it prepares you for doing the probably biggest exams of your life thus far. If you're walking into your mocks with no knowledge, not a care in the world, you couldn't really care less. You are missing out on so much. You're missing out on organizing your time and understanding how much time you will have and how much you should be spending at each question. You're missing out on the layout of the paper and what you're going to answer first. I feel like just doing your mocks just because you have to is such a waste. You should be using them to your advantage because they can really be a great tool for preparing for your leaving cert. Going on from that point, the next thing I want to talk about is having no preparation. If you're walking in with no preparation, you will obviously give it your best shot and you will be dilly-dallying, answering whatever you do know. You don't really care. So at the end of the day, it's probably just a waste of time for you. You won't even know what questions to answer first or what you're good at because you will have done no preparation at all. Whether if you're walking into your mocks with a couple of chapters learned, you can answer the questions on those topics really well because maybe you focused on 3 or 4 topics really in-depthly and you're going to test yourself now on those topics. You're not going to do great in the whole paper. That's not what they're there for. You answer the questions that you prepared for and you see how well you did. You can test out different essays for English, see how the marker is going to grade them. They might be great and you might use it for your leaving cert, or they might be horrible and you will have to adjust a lot of it. The idea of the mocks is really to give you a basis of how much you know and how much more study you have ahead of you. So if you're walking in there with no preparation, you're getting nothing out of it when there is actual stuff that you could get out of it or that are going to help you in the long run. Like for English, it is a very difficult subject. Your teacher might only give you 5 essays throughout the year and only correct 5 of your essays. You really won't know where you are in English, and this is just another opportunity to test out your English and your essays and see how well you do in them. Because you don't get nearly as much feedback from English as you probably should in order to do better and get a better grade. Also, if you do decently in the mocks and do okay, that will give you a really big boost. It will motivate you to keep going and keep studying and aim for the best you can. Whether if you do no preparation at all and you do absolutely awful or you fail them, honestly, it's gonna make you feel worse. It's not just gonna be like, oh, it's a waste of time, I just did them, I don't really care. It's actually gonna make you feel like crap if you fail your mocks. And it will not motivate you to keep going. The next thing I want to talk about is time management. I'm sure your teacher before the mocks will run through kind of the time you should be spending at each question. Obviously, it's just an estimate. If you spend, 5 minutes more in a question, that's totally okay. You might spend 5 minutes less in another question. But you should be roughly sticking to that and seeing how much time you actually need for each section because everyone's going to be different and your teacher is just giving you a kind of average answer. But definitely do actually listen to what your teacher is saying and remember how long they told you to spend at each section. Because you might not realize it, but in a lot of subjects, that time flies. And if you have prepared for this, you want to give it your best shot and answer all the questions that you've learned all these topics on. So do actually go in with the mindset of how long you should be spending at each question. If you spent longer than maybe an extra 10 minutes that your teacher has proposed, move on to the next question. Because that's what you should be doing in the leaving cert to maximize your grade. The last thing I want to talk about is ignoring feedback. Honestly, I do think this is the most important point. A lot of people will just get their mocks back, see they did okay, not great, they didn't know half the topics anyway, and they'll just throw the feedback in the bin. They really don't think much about it. The mock feedback is so important. For example, you might have learned off a definition, you knew this topic, you knew the definition, whatever, but you might have missed out on a particular word that had to be in the definition. Or for diagrams, you might have missed out on a certain thing that you had to label. Even if you thought you knew it for the mocks really well, there will be a lot of feedback that you will be able to take on and improve in your Leaving Cert, so you don't make those silly mistakes again. This is mostly referring to the topics that you really have studied for your mocks, and therefore you're kind of testing yourself in the mocks to see how well you do. So take on that feedback from your mocks and don't make those same silly mistakes again, because it could just be something small that you didn't notice, and you might do the exact same thing in your Leaving Cert if you don't review your feedback. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It was just a short one. If you are struggling in a particular subject or it comes to after your mocks and you're really not happy with your grade, I would definitely recommend checking out the ExamRevision courses and bundles. They have H1 standard notes, video lessons, quizzes, presentations, exam questions split up per topic, per subject. They have courses on majority of the Leaving Cert and Junior Cert subjects. And if you're really struggling in one or aiming to do better, I would definitely recommend checking them out. We know a girl who took out an 8th subject for the Leaving Cert purely using ExamRevision. Didn't do it in school, didn't have a tutor, nothing, and got a H1 in the subject just by using the ExamRevision material. So I would highly recommend checking them out if you are struggling in anything. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will talk to you all next week. Bye!